The ability for job creation to resuscitate economies and drive growth anywhere in the world is a widely documented fact. New markets are emerging with consumers making new demands, and many of our Jamaicans are taking up financial freedom at a much earlier age. From a look at progressive figures in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation to children in business, today's magazine is packaged to explore the business of our economy. I'm Theodore Henry, your facilitator for today's watch. Let's keep the conversation going after the news.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 14. The Ministry of Education and Youth has begun establishing internal units to implement the recommendations outlined in the Reform of Education in Jamaica 2021 report. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement during a recent face-to-face town hall meeting at Jamaica College. The 342-page document, which was developed by the Jamaica Education Transformation Commission, offers 54 recommendations for improving student performance and educational productivity. In line with those recommendations, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the selection of a Chief Transformation Officer is in train and an Education Transformation Oversight Committee has been established. The Prime Minister is encouraging education stakeholders to embrace the transformation that's taking place.
The transformation must be internal. The ministry itself must embrace the transformation. The ministry itself must see the benefit of the transformation, and the people in the ministry must lead the transformation.
In the meantime, Education Minister Favour Williams says 216 schools are connected to the internet. She gave that update during the recent Education Town Hall at Jamaica College. Minister Williams also revealed that 29 critical school repair projects had been completed, with work set to continue throughout the fiscal year. The ministry's school maintenance and infrastructure team has also begun revamping its processes to respond quicker to requests.
Over in St. Mary, Port Maria Primary, we did repairs to infrastructure damaged by flooding. That included the grade 3 block, timber building, block A, guidance counselor's office, repairs to wall, cupboards, doors, bathrooms, and so on. At Booker High in St. Anne, we treated termite infestation, completed student sanitation facility.
In other news, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is urging Jamaicans to take advantage of the various dispute resolution and restorative justice programs available to quell conflict. He asserts that too many lives have been lost due to an inability to resolve conflicts without violence. Dr. Chang says violence has reached a critical stage in Jamaica, and he's calling on citizens to utilize the domestic violence intervention centers to de-escalate tension. The minister's plea follows Saturday's untimely death of police detective Sergeant Victor Francis, who succumbed to stab wounds sustained while attempting to squash a dispute between two men in St. Catherine. Minister Chang says Detective Sergeant Francis's decision to intervene in the altercation was an act of bravery and showed his commitment to his job as a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. The National Security Minister has offered condolences to the lawman's family, friends, and colleagues. Several activities have been planned for this year's Tourism Awareness Week, September 25 to October 1. The week is being observed under the theme Rethinking Tourism and will also incorporate the World Tourism Day celebration on September 27. At a recent JIS think tank on Monday, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett said the theme was guided by the Blue Ocean Strategy, which calls for the creation of new business models based on competition and standardization.
It's a full week of activities that is being planned, with daily advertorials highlighting the initiative of the ministry and the public bodies that foster innovation in tourism. A church service, a virtual the Edmund Bartlett Lecture Series.
The Edmund Bartlett Lecture Series will be streamed from Japan through the International Press Club in Tokyo. Other activities include the launch of an online tourism resource guide, the Style Jamaica Runway Show, and the Tourism Opportunities Visionary Symposium. A youth forum, special virtual knowledge forum, youth poster competition, and official launch of the innovation-based tourism incubator are also planned. And finally, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen and Prime Minister Andrew Holness will be attending the state funeral for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. The service will be held at Westminster Abbey in London, England on September 19. Prime Minister Holness made the announcement as he led tributes to the late monarch during yesterday's sitting of the House of Representatives.
Queen Elizabeth will be long remembered for her constant and unparalleled dedication to the British monarchy and unswerving commitment and service to the Commonwealth and all territories.
Her Majesty, the Queen, who was Great Britain's longest reigning monarch, died peacefully at her home in Scotland on September 8 at age 96. Following the state funeral on September 19, Jamaica will hold memorial services in all parishes. The service in Kingston and St. Andrew will be headed by the Governor-General, Prime Minister and the Custodies, while the services in other parishes will be headed by Custodies. Meanwhile, Minister responsible for information, Robert Morgan, has sought to clarify misconceptions in the public domain surrounding the announcement of the 12-day period of mourning. He explains that the September 8 to 19 period of mourning applies largely to government ministries, departments, and agencies. As a result, no celebratory activities will take place within the public sector during the period.
For clarity, members of the public who wish to partake in the period of mourning may choose to act with constraint during this period. However, private events are not prohibited.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
How many more must die because of reckless drivers? How fast is too fast? Make we take time, no man. Obey the rules of the road. Drive with care.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
If you've been keeping up with government news, then you may have noticed some mandates being fulfilled by the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, designed to make the lives of Jamaicans better. One person that's helping to steer the ship in the right direction is the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry. Watch now as we quickly catch up with Audrey Sewell and get to know a bit more about her work.
Hi.
How are you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? How's the day so far?
Going very well. Going as planned.
It's going as planned.
Going as planned.
And oftentimes when we plan our days, it doesn't go like that. And we often have to put things in place like rituals.
Yes.
So starting off the day, we have morning rituals. I have one. What are your morning rituals?
Well, my morning rituals, starting from home, I presume. Yes, I get up early, 4 o'clock, sometimes 4:35, go through my usual devotions. That's a way of life for me. And make my breakfast. I do make my own breakfast, and I actually cook breakfast. I prepare my breakfast, take to work with me, and leave home to get to the office on time for my usual very hectic schedule.
Tell us exactly, what do you do?
It's hard to define the work of a permanent secretary, but the permanent secretary really is the person who oversees everything in a ministry.
What was the most difficult decision that you had to make recently?
When I was told that my then chief technical director, Wayne Robertson, was selected, I was going to lose him. He was selected and appointed as permanent secretary in the new ministry. It was difficult because I was asked to release him, and you know, when you're in government, when you're shifting staff, you have to get release from whether the permanent secretary or the supervisor. It was hard for me because I know it would have been a great loss in terms of the support that I would have been, I would be losing. By the way, we have been talking. Would you like some water, a cup of tea or so?
I'll take the water to go.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I'll take it to go. What inspires you? What's the thing that inspires you most? Or where do you draw your inspiration from?
You know, people may believe that working in government, it is boring. But for me, no. I am inspired by the fact that we have so many projects being undertaken in our ministry, both ministries. I feel at all times that I am making a difference. I am making a contribution. So when we have some of these large infrastructure projects, for instance, when you start with it from scratch, as they would say, from inception, from the concept, and you're involved in all the preparatory work and the implementation, and to see it come to fruition, you feel a sense of satisfaction.
At the end of the day, when the sun has set on your time in the public sector and you're walking away and you can become a fly on the wall, persons are talking about you and they're talking about your legacy, what would that sound like? What do you want that to sound like?
I would want it to sound like I came and I made a difference.
What's one thing your staff would say about you? What one short thing that you do on a regular basis, or they can look forward to you doing that's individual to you?
What is it now? Well, I know what they will say about me.
What did they say?
Is that I am miserable. I am a stickler for excellence and perfection. I'm a perfectionist. And I keep saying to them, I want what you're supposed to give. I want you to give your best as I tried to give my best. So, you know, they would tell you that, PS, yes, I operate an open door. Any staff can come into my office anytime with anything personal. But no matter how close you think you are with her, if you don't do the work, you're going to have a problem with her.
And then they can fly off the wall and leave.
Yeah. yes.
In your role as permanent secretary, you have traveled all over. You have seen many places. Tell me one place that stands out to you. It doesn't have to be the most significant, but somewhere that your travels in the role has taken you to.
You know, strange enough, it's down under.
Australia.
Australia and New Zealand.
Aside from the Bible, which other book would you recommend for reading?
The last book I read that has left an impression on me, it's Princess. It's a book that speaks to how women are viewed in their society and how they are treated. And there are some stories there. It was about a princess from a particular culture and what they went through as women.
I've taken up enough of your time. Thank you so much for allowing me to intrude on your day and for chatting with us. You know, keep doing the good work, and thank you once again.
And thanks for dropping in. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the water too.
Oh, you're most welcome. All right, have a good evening.
Have a good one yourself.
Thank you.
The job market seems to be expanding beyond our subscribed working age ideas. Some time ago, our magazine team caught up with 2 Jamaican youth who are reaping sweet financial rewards from their buzzing beekeeping business.
Me and my sister got started when we were very young. I think I was 6 or something around that age. And my mom had 4 hives, and that is the beginning of success.
The name of our family business is Maccabee Enterprise. Here at Maccabee Enterprise, we are all beekeepers, down to my 9-year-old sister, Camila. Working with the bees is nice. It's less challenging than back in the days. Don't want to sound too old. It is fun now. I am more confident. Yeah. It is calming, soothing. Takes you out of this world, bring in another. So it's fun. It's actually fun. My role here on the farm is using an extractor to extract honey. There are many ways. I will be explaining 2 ways. First is the professional method where you use an extractor. So you have a capping knife, a knife with like a serrated edge, and you would uncap, which is a thin sheet of wax on top of the comb with the honey inside. So it's like a seal. So you use a knife and uncap that. Then you put it in the extractor and spin it, and it would flash out on the side of the extractor and drain to the bottom, and then you leak it out into a bucket. The other way is, well, when you don't have an extractor, is that you would use a capping fork, or you could use a regular fork, and you would hold the frame like this, long way, and you'd use the fork and gently scrape the frame. So you're taking off the comb, you're removing the comb from the frame in a sense. But you'd have on the frame, there is a sheet of wax that we would put on as beekeepers, foundation. So it would guide the bees, to build more small cells that would get more workers in the hive. From the bees, we get 5 main products, right? We have pollen, propolis, beeswax, honey, and royal jelly. So based on those 5 things, we actually think about what we can do with those 5 things. So in beekeeping, we actually have honey flow periods and we have dirt season. Those are the 2 main periods. In between, we have like a pre-flow and pre-dirt, basically. But okay, so in our honey season, that's the time when they're on production. They're bringing in their honey, their pollen, everything on top. But for like in St. Thomas, there's like a 6-month period where there's dirt. There's no honey, no much honey that we can reap. There's just enough for them to feed themselves and their babies and be able to stay alive. In the dirt period, when there's not enough honey for us to harvest and be able to sell, we do things like remove our old combs and boil it out, and we get wax. With the wax, we do like the body butters, we do candles, lip conditioner. So that's the wax. With the pollen, we actually collect the pollen, and the pollen is a very good multivitamins. So we actually collect the pollen and dry it and package it for sale. For the royal jelly, we don't do a lot of work with the royal jelly. As we go along, we are actually developing products. So for the royal jelly right now, we put it in our honey wine. And then again, the honey wine is made from honey. My involvement in making the byproducts are production. I do most of the labels. I have help, so I can't take all the credit, but most of the labels are from me. I do social media marketing, so most of the WhatsApp texts, Instagram, they might mostly be from me. My younger siblings' involvement in the business is some help with the production. So there is some small things like shredding the wax that they can do. They help with the bees as well, because we're homeschool and we kind of tag along with our parents right through and through. So with the bees and with production. And my younger sister, she's very artistic. So when I'm actually doing the labels, sometimes she would draw this beautiful picture and I would
actually use that as part of the label. I have 4 personal hives for myself. I have 3 long struts, which is the regular kind of box that you would see that holds 10 frame, and they would stack on one on top of the other. And I have 1 top bar, which is a 30 frame box, which goes a long way. And it only has a top bar. It doesn't have the top bar with the square. It doesn't have a frame. It's just the top bar. My advice to other youth interested in beekeeping is you have to be persistent, and you have to be confident, and you have to be committed to beekeeping.
Beekeeping can be very wide. You don't have to just stuck with the bees, the sting, the honey. There is so much more that you can do. You can do candles. There is actually a shortage of beeswax candles. And beeswax candles are very easy. You mold, you wick, your color if you need, and you're done. Lip conditioner is another easy one. And if you go online, just take some of your time out of your texting and just research some products that you can actually do from the products that you get from the bees. The 5 products I mentioned, there's so much more.
STEM remains a viable career path right across the world. And here in Jamaica, we've acknowledged that. One of our own is putting her own twist to the idea of STEM, creating STEAM and empowering more of Jamaica's youth. Let's find out more.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, a supportive trunk of our island's national standards curriculum, which is strong enough to propel the growth of branches, fueling a better Jamaica. And as if that wasn't enough, our government's creativity expanded to mold the direction of STEM to create STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Right now, I'm about to meet head STEAM maker at the STEAM House, Godiva Golding, to learn about how her initiative is helping government prepare young minds for life beyond the classroom and beyond the curriculum.
STEAM House is a learning hub for science, technology, engineering, art, and math, more commonly known as STEAM. We teach integrated approaches to robotics and coding that allow students to actually solve real-world problems. So we do this through, again, coding and robotics education, and taking them through the process of exploring, imagining, and then making. At the end of STEAM House programs, you will always end up with some sort of end product, whether that be a game, be a prototype, or some web app that you can share with your family and friends. And we center all of this around project-based learning, because project-based learning is what is going to help students to build their problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, and also help them to channel their creativity.
So I know you might be wondering, why was STEAM House created, and what is the target audience? Here's the answer.
So STEAM House was created with the vision of preparing students for this digital world that is increasingly about artificial intelligence, about technologies, about data, is about computers. And how I first got my start is being introduced as an electronics major at the University of the West Indies. And so having gone through that experience, learning for the first time about coding and all these fine things at 21, 18 years old, thereabout, I thought it would be really good if we could have students as early as 7 actually learn some of these skills now. Because if they learn it at 7, by the time they get to 18 and 21, they're better able to actually actively participate in this world that is increasingly about AI and self-driving cars and all the fun things that we're going to be able to do with the internet.
You have heard about coding because you're right here with us today. Who would like to raise their hand and tell me what coding is or what they think coding is?
So there are a number of ways that we engage students in our programming. One way is our Block to Basics flagship course, which is a 2-month introduction to coding for children. The second way is through our summer camps, as well as ongoing STEAM camps that students can opt into, as well as our STEAM Maker Club. And the final thing, for especially foundations and organizations who are looking to build the skill set in their community, we have our Tinker workshops. So this is actually one of those workshops that students will be able to come in, have a hands-on experience with electronics, with coding, and build something that solves a problem in their community.
As you heard earlier, STEAM Maker has many programs that cater to the unique needs of its participants. Right now, we're witnessing firsthand the STEAM Maker Hour, done in collaboration with the Jamaica Library Service.
So this initiative, which is done with the St. Catherine Parish Library Network, is one hour per week coding course that students can actually take. And this is free of charge. But we do have paid programs that students can opt into that go and teach them the basics of not just coding and robotics, but also helps them to go really deep in building their problem-solving skills, because we take them through an entire process of starting out with an idea and having that idea turn into reality. We have had students who come through our programs who have built games to cheer you up during COVID. They've been games that help students to learn math. They've built games that, fire rocket ships. They've built remade Mario games. They've built things like motion-activated hand sanitizers, sort of like the ones that we see now in the supermarkets when we go in.
We're really very excited about this initiative at the library. Coding fuels the digital age, and it also encourages critical thinking. And that is one of the main aims that we have here at the library, along with the other programs and services that we have that include online learning and also online research.
I like this program because it's very educational and very fun to do, and it helps a lot. I've learned about coding. I've done coding with animations and cartoons. It's very fun to do, and it shows you movements, and you can also project it in robots and other things like that.
As you can see, this intricate and purposeful entanglement of the sciences and arts is helping to create more multifunctioning and creative minds. STEAM is no longer just vapor from heated water. It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, a requisite tool in today's highly technological and multifunctioning world.
Every Jamaican child in this day and age deserves access to these skills, access to sort of platform, the tools, the resources, and the tutors who will help to facilitate their journey through coding, through robotics, through this vehicle of problem solving and critical thinking skills. So parents who are interested in our programs can always visit our website at steamhouse.io, or they can visit us on Instagram, and we are steamhouse.io. With this, we start as early as 7 and we go as far as grade 9, and even beyond that for students who are interested in like robotics coaching for respective robotics competition that have especially popped up in Jamaica over the past 2 years.
So, if you're looking for an activity that teaches your child the soft and technical skills they need to be creators in the 21st century, why not try coding? Trust me, the possibilities are endless.
Our time on Jamaica Magazine is never enough for all the information that we have to share with you. But as we speak, our team members are behind the scenes preparing a fresh package for you tomorrow. Until then, keep up with the JIS on our website at www.jis.gov.jm. From all the members of the production team, I'm Theodore Henry. See you soon.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.